It's really easy to create a whole new sports league. The easiest thing you've ever imagined. Just look at the success that everybody's had. Look how much sport has grown in the last 10, 15, 20 years, the professionalization of the sport, the appetite for the influencers that are the athletes. Look at the series of documentaries that have come out. Isn't it all wonderful and exciting? Sometimes it slightly baffles me at how little people sometimes understand is needed to create sport, but also how much is needed. You know, I'm so excited to see the creation of things like Border League because from really small, humble beginnings, or ELF, the European League of Football, I think they've done an amazing job of creating leagues from scratch, really understand their audiences, build community, build a creative go to market strategy that I think resonates with very different audiences. At the same time, you sit back and you read articles about how Live Golf has spent roughly $5 billion, and you're trying to figure out where the money went. Now, obviously, we know it went primarily to the athletes that signed amazing golfers. And as a golf fan myself, it is depressing to see some PGA events without some of these great names. The problem is a lot of these golfers that have moved there have kind of vanished from the ecosystem. The one that's really created something for himself, it's because he's doing an amazing job on social, not because he's necessarily doing great at Live Golf. Shots over his house for hole in one by DeChambeau has created a real resonance with consumers, and he's done an amazing job. And you look at their event in Australia, which I think had recently over 100,000 people showing up. Big, did they show up for the golf? They show up for the big concert. Is that a sustainable golf business model? I think there's definitely learnings for people that maybe you need more than just the golf, and they've done a great job. But then you see their opening weekend of events on FS1 and you're getting 30, 40,000 people watching it compared to, you know, premium numbers. Like I think 2.8 million people were watching the PGA event at WM. So, 5 billion. And where are you a few years later? You've definitely created leverage. And I think we're likely to see a merger again. You look at these stories about a new basketball product and where that's emerging. And I love basketball. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. You see the number 5 billion bandied about. Now, if it's sovereign funds, maybe they have the capital, but can they in 3 to 5 years see a return on 5 billion? No, that would be to me very clear. It says it doesn't want to compete with the NBA. Okay, so who are the elite athletes that are going to draw the attention? Do you need non-elite athletes? I think EuroLeague and certainly domestic leagues in Europe are clearly not as strong as the NBA, but they have real relevance. You look places like Serbia, Greece, Spain, that they're real leagues. A traveling circus like Formula One is interesting. Can it create the creation of resonance in a short period of time the same way that F1 has over 75 years? Interesting question. I don't actually have the answer. I think it's an interesting question. But if it's private equity and the like putting money in, they need to see a return of 20% IRR. How is that going to work? How's that going to happen? I think it's difficult for me to see that working in basketball. I'm not saying it won't. I think it's difficult. You're not going to get the best athletes. You're going to be in different markets. There is a really good product already out there. Yes, the NBA needs to fix some things, but it's a really good, strong, positive market. Then I look at, where I have been interested in seeing new domestic leagues or new international leagues emerge are things like domestic rugby, because international rugby is amazing. It's an amazing product. You watch the Six Nations, watch the World Cup. It's phenomenal rugby. It's brilliant product. And then you look at, attendances and the economics of something like the Premiership Rugby, and the math just doesn't add up. So, I can see why there is a genuine opportunity to create a new product in club rugby to find a new and better way to connect to fans. A bit like I think the 100 has done a really, really good job of finding its audience, marketing to it, the TV product, the in-event product. It's just very different. My sample size of one, my son, like if there's county cricket on or international cricket on, he's not interested. If there's the 100 on, he says, wait, what's that? What's happening? And it's just really easy for him as a fan of sport and a fan of entertainment to connect to it. So again, I think there are some really interesting opportunities for new leagues to emerge. I don't think it is as easy as some people think. I think you need inspired leadership. You need a different model. You need a new way of thinking about it. And I think you need to find your segments that really work. Baller, I think, really fits a niche. I think, and it could be a really big niche. Don't get me wrong, it could be really big. ELF, amazing niche. American football fans in Europe, amazing niche, and you can really own it and dominate it. Club rugby, again, I think something can really work there. Can some? Can you really create another international basketball? I don't know. I just don't think it's as simple as some people think. And I think it takes a lot more capital to be successful at something like that than even the 5 billion they're talking about.